Hey, what's up everybody? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and the next Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure review I want to do is Nemesis, also known as Holocaust. They used Nemesis when they released the figure because Holocaust is kind of an abrasive name, but it is the character known as Holocaust. It's a pretty decent Build-A-Figure. It's another one of the Hasbro ones. It's not very big. It's only about 7.5 inches tall. But it is pretty cool in its own right. It is largely translucent plastic. Not completely, but every piece is somewhat translucent with these little red spots all over it, which are also kind of semi-translucent. So it's pretty cool looking. And the dome is yellow, but it's almost completely translucent, so that's cool. The dome does open. Mine, if you look, mine has a little bit of glue on it. I bought it from somebody that had broken it, and they glued it back on, or back together so it could work. And I got it for like 10 bucks, so I did not mind that little bit of glue. I could even clean it up a little bit if I wanted to, but it still works. So it does open up, and inside is the little skeleton dude. He's still rubber banded in from the factory, but it does come out if you want to. That's what it is. And he's got a little standard neck joint in there. He's got the pivot, forward, backward, and the side-to-side movement, so that's kind of cool. He hides in there and you can see through it pretty well. Looks nice. He's got these really big shoulder pads, but they're not solid. They're I mean, they're not flexible really, but they kind of have a little bit of a flex where they're connected, so they don't impede the articulation too much, which is a giant Marvel Legends shoulder joint. Standard articulation, full range. Does have a bicep swivel right there. Single jointed elbow with a bicep swivel at the bottom as well. So he's got that articulation, and that does it for this hand, which I guess is his gun hand thing. I'm not really sure. It does have some nice detail on there. Hopefully you can see that. And then this arm, basically the same articulation, except he's got the fist hand on this side. And it's got a swivel plus a pivot. So a little bit extra articulation there. It's got a really nice sculpt on that fist. I like it a lot. He's got the kind of a strange torso. It's really narrow, then it gets really big, and it's got this kind of weird joint where it's got extra articulation. You can move it side to side, like pivoting, or actually you can shift it over so you can pivot even more. You can move it front to back, or you can just snap it off on accident. But you can move it front to back also, so it's got kind of a nice range of motion, so it's pretty good there. I like that. Sculpt is pretty solid too. I like that a lot. He's got wide joint hips, unfortunately, which means it's not the good kind. You have to twist them to get them to come forward, but it does have the full range of motion. Now if you'll look, this is a good example. The joint plastic is a harder plastic, and it's more translucent. I think it would have been cooler to have the whole figure be that kind of clear yellow instead of this kind overall, but it's not a big deal. He does have the thigh swivel built in right there, and a single jointed knee, the Hasbro kind, which got the knee joint, and then you can spin the lower leg on the knee joint like that. Then you can spin the ankle, and it's got the pivot, but no ankle rocker. It's not a huge problem for this guy due to the way they sculpted him, but it definitely would have been nice to have an ankle rocker on him, as it's always nice to have that, I think. Paintwork is overall pretty nice. As you can see, the lines on the shoulder pads are nice and solid. The little spots all over the place, some of them are a little sloppy, but overall it's done fairly well. He's got a really nice sculpt to him. Looks the way I would kind of expect a figure of Holocaust or Nemesis to look. I do wish he was a little bit bigger maybe. And just those other few things I mentioned, like the ankle rocker and the plastic. Would have been cool if it was the different color yellow, but it's not bad, so I do recommend you get it. Another X-Men character, but it's a pretty cool one. And although it is getting kind of hard to find since it was Walmart exclusive, I think, was it the last regular wave? I think it might have been the last regular wave of Marvel Legends. So they're getting a little scarce, but they were cheap for a while, so I don't know. See if you can get one for a good price. If not, it's not too necessary to buy it, but it is kind of a cool figure, guys. So that's your call. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure reviews, and in the meantime, keep collecting.